All right, hello everybody. It is Brian the Gamer Guy yet again. It is Sunday, and in trying to keep with this new tradition of doing either thoughts and opinions, or impressions, or lists, I'm here today to give you some info on things that I personally found interesting in upcoming games or games that are just recently released. So, disclaimer, like I'm obviously not going to just read the news of every last RPG that, comes out. I know you guys have your favorite YouTubers and things that do those things already, and you also have, RPG fan, RPG gamer, GameSpot, IGN, all those places, are there. So any of those trailers, any of those things you want to watch and with full sound and all that stuff, either go to those places with the Steam store. There's some good information and good stuff, but these are just things that I found interesting that I might be willing to check out down the road or put on the backlog or on my Steam wish list or whatever. So, without further ado, let's get started. So, the first game, let me take a look here on my little handy note, is Ariana and the Elder Codex. All right, and that's going to be on the PS4, PS5, and PC, and they say March 24th. Now, this is like a side scroller action style, Metroidvania style, it seems like kind of RPG. I don't know if it's as Metroidvania ish. I can't get enough out of just the trailers. It's made by Idea Factory, Compile Hearts, or just Idea Factory, one of the two. But I mean, so that's going to be hit or miss if it's actually any good. Because I mean, look, I'll be honest. I have played, several of the Hyperdimension Neptunia games, and I've played Death End Request and Record of the Agrest War, or Agrest War Zero, if you want to call it that in Europe. I've played a lot of those games, and really, I just didn't find many of them fun, to be really honest. I mean, so to me, it's either hit or miss with those games. I mean, some of them I found a little fun, some of them I didn't, but I would say out of the JRPG pool, to me, those feel mediocre in a lot of ways compared to what else is out there. But this one does look good. I mean, I'm always good for like a side scrolling game that's an action RPG. If it's a Metroidvania style, I'm even more cool with it. Um, and if it plays more like arcadey like Odin Sphere, I'd be cool with that too. I loved Odin Sphere and Miramasa. Didn't play Sakuna of Rice and Ruin, but loved those games. So if it plays like that, it just has an interesting vibe to it, and so I'm very curious to try it. Okay, now looking on the list, the next one up is Odds Chronicles, and there's a demo out for it. They say they want to release it on the PC sometime this year, and Xbox, PlayStation, Switch are said to follow. So there's no release date in set in motion. Um, it just looked cool to me when I saw it on RP Gamer on the list. It is definitely a tactical style RPG, and it's got rogue elements with it. And so there's like dice rolling, and it looks like there's a little bit of, building up your potential little area, like a hub area, and then you go out, you battle, you go and win, and you slowly upgrade, get stronger, and like I think that's part of that rogue element that goes with it. But then again, I'm watching a trailer, I'm reading a little snippet. It looks interesting. So I decided to put that on there. Will it be interesting? There's no telling, but it looked interesting. When I get in the mood, I do like tactical RPGs. And I do kind of like roguelikes. I will say my favorite tactical RPGs are the ones like Shining Force, Final Fantasy Tactics, Arc the Lad, the ones that let you kind of explore a little bit with your tactical RPG. So that one is on the list for sure, and there is a demo out if you want to try it on Steam. Give me a second. Ooh, bless me. Okay, so next on my list is Escape from Ever After, just released. It's you can play it Steam, PS5, PS, Xbox, and Switch stores. It's digital only. It seems like. This one I saw this when David Vink showed it on his upcoming and stuff, and so I did have it on the wish list. So that one's out. That one looks very cool in a lot of ways. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Mario RPG or Paper Mario, but with a fairy tale vibe to it. So that is one I'm definitely excited to see. It just looks, the art style just looks really good. It looks to be a solid RPG with, good elements to it, something fun to play. And, support the indie people, man. They're the ones in a lot of ways innovating a lot of stuff. Or if they're not innovating, they're at least reviving stuff that a lot of these companies that we've all grown up with, if you're in your 40s and 30s or older, um, like Square Enix and them, they're reviving these concepts. So it's always good to support some of these indie projects, I feel. All right, so looking at the list here. Okay, so the next one is this one looks really cool too. It's called the Ratcheteer DX, and it's planned for PC, Mac, and Switch. This one looks really cool. It's like there's supposedly like X amount of rooms, like 200 rooms or something like that, and spread throughout 6 dungeons. And you get it's like Zelda looking. Like you get items, you get hearts, you explore, you attempt to fight monsters. It seems like you're trying to solve puzzles, but I didn't see as much of that as much as I saw the exploration and the fighting monsters and having 3 hearts and stuff. So it has the adventure game vibe to it, like a Zelda kind of like with a wrench. Since you're the Ratcheteer. Now the dungeon design, it's definitely one of those dungeons you see pieces of it, and then it reveals as you walk, like the Fog of War style. So that looks very interesting, and it would be a game I would be curious to try. And then, last but not least, 2 games I want to talk about. You have Dungeon Antiquita 2, and okay, this just released not long ago, or it's either planned to release. I can't remember, but it's either going to release or it's just released. Um, but you can play that on PC for sure, and it's really neat. If you played the first one, it's definitely like a dungeon crawler, but it was meant to be beaten in like maybe like 5 hours, 10 hours, somewhere there, short. Even less if you're good at it. And battles, you have classes you can pick from, and then when you get into battle, it's side scroll style. Looks like Final Fantasy 3, Final Fantasy 2, like Nintendo style Final Fantasy, versus your typical wizardry first person kind of thing. No, it's top down view. You walk around, you reveal parts of the dungeon. There's treasure keys, potential traps, and stuff, and the monsters to fight. When you fight them, you get into a Final Fantasy style battle. So this one has, supposedly 10 jobs you can choose from, and you don't start out with all 10 of them, if I'm aware. And there's supposedly 6 dungeons in this one. It just caught my eye on Steam, and totally the first one was fun if you're into those kinds of things for a dungeon crawler, and for 16-bit graphics and this unique visual style of the combat, I think it's worth checking out. And this next one also looks very similar to Dungeon Antiquita 2. And it just popped up randomly on the page on Steam, and I looked at it and added it to my wish list because, again, I fell in love with it. And um, it is called Crescent Tower. Okay, and it looks like to have a lot of the same things as Dungeon Antiquita. Almost like maybe they even copied that. Heck, it may even be the same company. I'm not 100% sure, but the same thing. Go to the dungeons. The battle system is that Final Fantasy style battle system. At least for the visuals, it's not like Final Fantasy per se. You have your skills that you can use. And all that stuff, and each class has its purpose for for synergies and stuff. So still looking like a pretty cool little retro style overhead view dungeon crawler. Okay, so these are the videos or the things that I've seen that I'm interested in. So yeah, as the weeks go on, I will try every week to bring you either more things that I've seen that I think are interesting or more impressions. All right, thank you all for watching, and we shall return with more Octopath Traveler uploads starting probably today, maybe tomorrow. And going from there, I'm getting closer to that game finishing just in time for Dragon Quest. I might be a little behind, but yeah, we're going. So that was my news on things I saw that are interesting. Hopefully that gives you some things to look into to play if you're consuming a lot of games. Okay, thank you all very much.